friends, this is Stephen Krashen, Assistant Professor, PG Department of English, Don Bosco College, Kottayam. Welcome to my paper, English Language Teaching. Today we will look into Natural Hypothesis by Krashen. This approach was developed by Tracy Terrell and Stephen Krashen. They identified this approach with the traditional approaches to language teaching. The natural approach conformed to the naturalistic principles found in successful second language acquisition. The main principles of natural approach are: it emphasizes on exposure to language rather than practice. It emphasizes again on the central role of comprehension. It optimizes emotional preparation of the learners. And it calls for prolonged exposure to the target language before the learner is asked to produce the language. Krashen outlined 5 hypotheses in his model. The first one, the acquisition learning hypothesis. This states that there is a strict separation between conscious learning of language and subconscious acquisition of language, and that only acquisition can lead to fluent language use. The acquisition learning distinction is the most fundamental of all the hypotheses in Krashen's theory and the most widely known among linguists and language practitioners. According to Krashen, there are 2 independent systems of second language performance: the acquired system and the learned system. The acquired system or the acquisition is a product of a subconscious process, very similar to the process children undergo when they acquire their first language. It requires meaningful interaction in the target language. Yes, natural communication, in which speakers are concentrated not in the form of their utterances but in the communicative act. The second one, the learned system or learning, is a product of formal instruction, and it comprises a conscious process which results in conscious knowledge about the language. For example, knowledge of grammar rules. According to Krashen, learning is less important than acquisition. Next one, the monitor hypothesis. This states that language knowledge that is consciously learned can only be used to monitor output, not to generate new language. Monitoring output requires learners to be focused on the rule and to have time to apply it. That is, it explains the relationship between acquisition and learning and define the influence of the latter on the former. The monitoring function is a practical result of the learned grammar. According to Krashen, the acquisition system is the utterance initiator, while the learning system performs the role of the monitor or the editor. The monitor acts in planning, editing, and correcting function when 3 specific conditions are met. Like, the second language learner has sufficient time at his or her disposal. Second one, he or she focuses on form or thinks about correctness. Third one, if he or she knows the rule. Then we have the input hypothesis. This states that language is acquired by exposure to comprehensive input at a level higher than that the learner can already understand. So, input. The language is acquired by the exposure to understanding, comprehensive input. Next one is natural hypothesis. In natural order hypothesis, the learner acquires the grammatical features of a language in a fixed order, and that is not affected by instruction. Then the last, effective filter hypothesis, states that learners must be relaxed and open to learning in order for language to be acquired. A relaxed, free mind is needed for learning. Learners who are nervous or distressed may not learn features in the input that more relaxed learners would pick up with little effort. So, learning should always take place in a free manner. So, that is effective filter hypothesis.